It would need to be a public-private partnership with clear division of roles and where the central bank tasked with underpinning the trust in money. Like smartphone platforms, a unified ledger allows various components to work seamlessly together. But unlike them, it is enabled by open architecture that promotes financial inclusion and greater competition. Such a ledger allows for the use of smart contracts and composability. A smart contract is a computer program that executes conditional if-then and while commands. Composability means that many smart contracts covering multiple transactions and situations can be bundled together like a money Lego. With these new functionalities, any sequence of transactions in programmable money can be automated and seamlessly integrated.
Imagine a world where trillions move in seconds. That's the future the BIS just unlocked for XRP. Have you ever wondered how the world's financial giants plan to settle massive transactions in mere seconds without the usual bureaucratic bottlenecks? And what if I told you that the BIS, SWIFT, and a handful of major central banks have been quietly laying the groundwork for a revolution that puts Ripple right in the center of the action? Today, we connect all the dots, from Swift's groundbreaking reports to the intricate blockchain solutions.
In a written speech, he pointed out the gap between Europe's need for financial modernization and the slow progress in actually making it happen. At the core of his proposal is the idea of a European unified ledger, built on distributed ledger technology.
Let's break down this concept and see how it might, if implemented, impact Europe's financial landscape. The governor's proposal is centered around the creation of European Ledger, a shared digital platform using DLT to make financial transactions more efficient across European countries. If you haven't heard of DLT before, think of it as the backbone technology behind blockchain.
The idea here is to improve the efficiency of cross-border transactions and better utilize Europe's private savings, particularly to fund important projects like green and digital transformations, two key priorities for the EU right now. This European ledger would also support the tokenization of real-world assets such as commercial bank money and financial instruments.
Let's rewind a bit. Not too long ago, Swift dropped a report outlining a shared ledger for payment data, heavy stuff that hinted at a new era of digital transactions. They delved into the benefits of DVP, or delivery versus payment, and hinted at a future where rich, structured data makes regulated financial transactions instant and frictionless. But here's the kicker. Swift, for all its messaging prowess, still left a gaping question. Where exactly would the settlement and clearing layer come from? After all, messaging alone isn't enough when you're trying to move billions in real time.
All major banks are looking at it. They're doing proofs of concept research, and even the UK's central bank is conducting research.
In Asia, as elsewhere, we are beginning to get to a point at which people are saying, actually, there's a real application here that we can potentially develop at scale.
Blockchain is going to happen, and I think we believe that it would happen perhaps a little bit faster, and that it would happen in certain areas where I don't think it will happen.
Enter Ripple. Back when blockchain was still a buzzword, Ripple was already a frontrunner, a major player that helped shape the conversation around distributed ledger technology for financial services. Today, the BIS's confirmation ties everything together, suggesting that the innovative tech Ripple has been championing might just be the secret sauce for this new global payments network. It's like watching the pieces of a high-stakes puzzle fall into place.
Joining us today, we are announcing Project Agora. This is an exciting new project which will experiment with how tokenization can improve the global monetary system. And it's starting with a use case that is near and dear to the BIS, which is cross-border payments. Project Agora builds on the vision for the future of the monetary system that we laid out in our annual economic report last year. We believe that tokenization is the next frontier in terms of the digitalization of money and payments. Agora is the most ambitious project launched by the BIS Innovation Hub so far.
Do tell.
Its reach is global. We have 7 leading central banks from around the globe that are participating. They are the Bank of France, which is representing the Euro system, and then the Bank of Japan, Bank of Korea, Bank of Mexico, Swiss National Bank, Bank of England, and the Federal Reserve Bank of New York.
Okay, let's go through this again, because Ripple has huge connections in Japan, Bank of England, the United States, right? Ripple has been down in Mexico.
You see, Swift's vision of connecting over 11,500 banks across more than 200 countries isn't just about making payments faster. It's about transforming the very architecture of global finance. Their upcoming CBDC platform is designed to integrate emerging digital currencies with existing systems, a platform built on blockchain-based messaging standards like ISO 2022. And yes, there's chatter about other players in this space, Quant, Stellar, even white-labeled solutions. But when you look at the evidence, it becomes clear. Ripple's technology is hard to ignore.
Swiss National Bank, Bank of Korea, what is the number one crypto for people in South Korea, right? 10% of the population love XRP, right? It's not XDC, it's not XLM, all of these. So the reason why this is important is all of these banks, right? All of these central banks have their own financial markets in their country. Okay, and if the technology that the central bank is going to use to tokenize deposits or build their central bank digital currency on, that could be the asset class, the unified ledger that they decide to build out the entire market infrastructure on.
The BIS isn't just throwing around buzzwords. Their latest confirmation underscores that we're on the brink of a fundamental shift. This isn't about replacing Ripple. It's about embracing its innovations to solve real-world problems in global payments. Let's dive deeper. In a recent trial, a collaboration involving 38 central banks, commercial banks, and settlement platforms, a new CBDC sandbox project was launched. This 6-month project wasn't just a technical exercise. It was a trial run for the future. And at its core, a mission to ensure that digital currencies, regardless of their underlying technology, can interact seamlessly. The goal is simple, yet profound. Eliminate the fragmentation in global payment systems. This, in essence, is what the BIS confirmation is all about.
Bank of Mexico, Swiss National Bank, Bank of England, and the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. The project is envisaged as a public-private collaboration.
Public-private collaboration.
Almost all cross-border payments are done via commercial banks, with final settlement taking place as needed across the books of central banks. Project Agora will maintain this division of labor and wants to leverage private sector expertise and know-how. Hence,
the BIS wants to leverage private sector innovation. Remember, Ripple works with the BIS. They are on the BIS, innovation team or innovation hub.
Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Isn't this the same old story? Banks adopting digital currencies and trying to catch up with tech? But here's where it gets really intriguing. The BIS isn't just talking about any digital currency. They're talking about a system that leverages Ripple's long-standing expertise in blockchain technology. Remember, Ripple was one of the first major members of the ISO 202 committee that focused on blockchain integration. They have been at the forefront since day one, and that early mover advantage is paying dividends now.
The adoption of these crypto-based payment networks is 100 times easier in 2024 than in the last cycle back in 2017. Ripple and XRP have tried super hard to push the adoption of a new global payment system to replace the old SWIFT network. But it was always an uphill battle because XRP was trying to uproot an entire financial system. However, in 2023 and beyond, the situation has completely changed. The global financial system has fully agreed to adopt the ISO 20022 standard. By 2025, all financial institutions will have to be able to process ISO 20022 compliant payment transactions. So Ripple and XRP no longer have to convince individual players to use their system. If any institution wants to use XRP for settling transactions, they can easily support it as it is already compliant with ISO 20022. This is a large reason why we saw XDC, XLM, and related coins all explode in price after the XRP lawsuit victory.
And what about SWIFT? The international messaging network may be known for its traditional role in financial communications, but its new strategy is anything but old school. Their plan is to enable instant, frictionless payments to 4 billion accounts worldwide, using agnostic standards that make no assumptions about currencies, technologies, or payment types. It's a bold, all-inclusive approach that puts traditional messaging systems and cutting-edge blockchain technology on the same playing field. Swift's CBDC platform is designed to be a unified global connection point, a digital bridge that facilitates the rapid exchange of value between central banks. In this rapidly evolving landscape, it's not a question of one technology replacing another, it's about collaboration. Banks, regulators, and tech innovators are coming together, and Ripple is uniquely positioned to play a critical role.
The efforts to bridge the gap between digital and fiat-based currencies is gaining traction. Taking the lead in this direction is Swift, the world's leading provider of secure financial messaging services. 3 central banks, including the Hong Kong Monetary Authority and the National Bank of Kazakhstan, are currently integrating Swift's CBDC connector solution into their infrastructure for direct testing.
Let's talk liquidity for a moment. One of the most challenging aspects of cross-border payments is ensuring there's enough liquidity to settle transactions without costly delays. The BIS's latest findings highlight the need for a third-party currency with sufficient liquidity, a role that XRP is uniquely suited for. Unlike traditional fiat or even other digital currencies, XRP's design allows for fast, efficient, and cost-effective settlements. It's not just a digital asset, it's a building block for the future of financial infrastructure. Imagine a scenario where a bank in New York sends funds to a counterpart in Tokyo, and the entire transaction settles in a matter of seconds with minimal fees. That's not science fiction. That's the promise on the horizon. And the BIS confirmation only adds weight to the argument that Ripple's XRP could be the linchpin in this new era of finance. Now let's consider another angle. There's been plenty of speculation that Swift's new platform might sideline Ripple. After all, why would a traditional institution like Swift choose a tech partner with such a disruptive reputation? But here's the twist. Swift isn't trying to replace Ripple. They're looking to integrate Ripple's proven technology into their new system. Think of it like a high-end sports car that combines the best of both worlds, performance and reliability. Ripple's blockchain is not just a fallback option, it's a foundational element that can power the next generation of global payments. In fact, a recent joint paper from Swift and several central banks laid out a roadmap for integrating CBDCs and cross-border payments using blockchain-based transaction management services. The document detailed how a permission system, where only verified nodes can process transactions, can coexist with the openness of public blockchains. It's a nuanced approach that recognizes the strengths of both models. And if you ask me, it's a brilliant solution to one of the industry's most persistent challenges.
When you look at Ripple in the first place, technology company founded in 2012 focused on revolutionizing global payments through blockchain-based solutions. It develops financial infrastructure that enables fast, low-cost, and efficient cross-border transactions. The owner is SPI Holdings and Andreessen Horowitz, well-known company. We know Andreessen Horowitz. They own a lot of different things. When it comes down to Ripple, do you know 300 financial institutions already use Ripple Net as of 2024, one of them being Bank of America. Bank of America uses them. American Express uses the technology that Ripple Net has. So it's not like others aren't starting to gradually, behind closed doors, say, maybe we need this technology, because when it comes down to CBDC, Ripple partners with government to build blockchain infrastructure for CBDC. Everybody's trying to find out, hey man, we got to build something here. Whose technology do we use? The government decides to team up with Ripple. Ripple's 2024 partnership with central banks and its stablecoin launch signal this direction. So they're already making that progress.
Throughout this journey, one theme has remained constant: collaboration. Whether it's the Digital Pound Foundation working on a unified CBDC platform, or a consortium of 38 central banks testing a sandbox project, the message is clear. The future of global finance isn't about isolated players fighting for dominance. It's about building an interconnected ecosystem where every participant has a role. And Ripple, with its deep roots in blockchain innovation, is a natural fit in this ecosystem. There's another layer to this story that's worth exploring. The BIS confirmation comes at a time when public skepticism about digital currencies is high. Critics argue that blockchain is too volatile, too unregulated, or too opaque for serious financial applications. Yet what we're seeing here is a case of the very institutions that once dismissed crypto now embracing its potential. It's a classic case of the underdog proving its worth against all odds. And while some naysayers claim that this new system is just a repackaging of old ideas, the devil is in the details. The integration of DT and smart contract layers, which ensure that every transaction is recorded and verified with absolute precision, adds a level of trust and security that was previously unimaginable in traditional banking. It's a system designed not just for speed, but for transparency and accountability on a global scale. Now, you might be asking, what does this mean for me as an investor or a user of digital currencies? The answer is both simple and profound. Whether you're an individual looking to transfer funds internationally or a major financial institution seeking to optimize your payment processes, the advent of this new system means lower fees, faster transactions, and a more inclusive financial network that transcends borders. XRP isn't just another asset in your portfolio. It could be the currency that powers the future of money.
We are extremely interested in native smart contract programmability. You probably heard us talk about this lately. There are certain things that I think the smart transactors on the XRP ledger can probably handle a significant percentage of what people want to do. You know, we have NFTs, it does most of what people want to do with NFTs. We have an AMM, it does most of what people want to do with AMMs. We have a lending protocol, it will do most of what people want to do with lending, but it won't do all of it. It's impossible for the designers of a blockchain to foresee every quirk in a use case. Native smart contract functionality will enable people to tweak those ledger features to get that sort of special sauce that they want. We've also talked to a lot of people who are building tools and user interfaces on top of the XRP ledger.
In this evolving narrative, it's essential to understand that the competition isn't about one technology replacing another. It's about building a framework where multiple technologies work in harmony. Think of it like the evolution from analog to digital media. Just as streaming services didn't eliminate the need for high-quality production, they transformed it. This new financial ecosystem will integrate both legacy systems and innovative blockchain solutions. Ripple is perfectly poised to be at the center of that transformation, driving efficiency and opening up new opportunities. The BIS's confirmation isn't just a technical endorsement, it's a signal to the entire financial world. It tells banks, regulators, and investors alike that the old paradigms are giving way to something far more dynamic. And while there will always be debates about the best path forward, the fact remains, Ripple's technology has moved from the fringes to the forefront of global finance. Now, as we stand on the brink of this transformative era, one thing is crystal clear. The future of cross-border payments is here, and it's powered by innovation, collaboration, and a relentless drive to break down barriers. The BIS's latest announcement is more than just news. It's a roadmap to a future where XRP and Ripple play a pivotal role in shaping the global financial landscape.
That's a great question. Well, we're using a lot of distributed ledger technology. So you asked specifically about Enbridge, and like I said, you know, Enbridge was a project that I spent quite some time running, and it was probably one of the most advanced cross-border blockchain experiments in the central banking world. You know, Enbridge was an evolution of a project called Infinon Line Rock, and Infinon Line Rock was an evolution of a project that was Infinon on its own and Line Rock on its own. So Infinon was a project that was run by the Central Bank of Thailand that had to do with wholesale markets, CBDC for wholesale markets. Line Rock was the equivalent thing in Hong Kong. Then a project formed called, you know, with the very it can give you an insight into how creative the central banking community is. They took Project Infinon and Project Line Rock and they called it Project Infinon Line Rock. And they created a bridge between Hong Kong and Thailand to look at this cross-border payment, creating an interoperable bridge between those two countries.
So what does all this mean for the markets, for the institutions, for the regulators, and for you, the everyday user? It means that in the coming months and years, we're likely to see rapid developments in how digital currencies are integrated into traditional finance. It means that barriers that once slowed down international transactions will crumble, replaced by a new system that is fast, efficient, and secure. And at the center of this revolution is Ripple, with XRP as its beating heart. As we wrap up today's update, remember that every new technological leap in finance has been met with both skepticism and awe. Today's breakthrough is no different. The BIS has spoken, and the message is unequivocal. The future is digital, and XRP is positioned to be a cornerstone of that future. So as you mull over these developments, ask yourself, are we witnessing the dawn of a new era in global finance? Could XRP be the catalyst that transforms how we transfer value across borders? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure. The landscape of money is changing, and the implications are monumental. If you're as excited and intrigued by this news as we are, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. This is Unmasked Finance signing off, but the conversation is just beginning. Stay tuned, keep questioning, and remember, the BIS just confirmed what's coming for XRP, and what we're about to see might just rewrite the future of money as we know it. See you in the next update.